one of the surprises I think everybody has when they first get involved with this issue is that most countries in the world do not fluoridate. Out of a population of 8 or 9 billion people, we've only got 400 million drinking fluoridated water. Most of them live in the United States. So very few countries fluoridate. Now the shock is that if you look at the data compiled by the World Health Organization, despite the fact that most countries don't fluoridate, the tooth decay in 12-year-olds, this is what the World Health Organization collects, tooth decay in 12-year-olds. And they find that the rates of tooth decay in 12-year-olds from the 1960s to the present is coming down as fast in the non-fluoridated countries as the fluoridated ones. If there's any difference, the rates of tooth decay coming down is faster in the non-fluoridated countries than the fluoridated ones. Well, obviously, there are other ways of fighting tooth decay other than putting fluoride in the water. So you can avoid this forcing of fluoride onto people by looking at what other countries are doing. And there's two in particular, one a recent example and one that goes back to the 1980s. Let's deal with the one that goes back to the 1980s. In Denmark, in a town called Nexo, N-E-X-O with some kind of accent on it, Nexo, they have had this program, as I said, from the 1980s, where they have specially trained people, but not dentists, not that highly qualified, who visit children in their homes, families in their homes, from the age of 8 months through up to 18 years. It's quite possible as they get older that they might go to clinics, but to begin with at least, into their homes. And all they do is to teach the kids how to brush their teeth properly, how to get maximum plaque control. They don't use any topical fluoride. They certainly don't use any ingested fluoride. But with this simple procedure, if there's any poor performance, then they shorten the time to the next visit. And if any professional care is needed, it's given. But if you compare the tooth decay in Nexo compared to the rest of Denmark, you'll see that the tooth decay in both 5-year-olds and even more markedly in 15-year-olds is coming down much more dramatically, much lower than the rest of Denmark. Now that's significant because Denmark has the best tooth decay rates in the world. So you're comparing this town with the best in the world, but for 15-year-olds, the program now, the most current figures, the tooth decay is about 5 to 6 times less in Nexo than the rest of Denmark. So that's a good program that is cost effective because you're not using highly qualified people. You're just people that know this technique. Now in Scotland, over the last 5 to 10 years, they have got the Child Smile program. This is not done in homes, it's done in schools. The first lessons that the kids get in kindergarten is how to brush their teeth properly. And the teachers are also using the parents. The parents are invited to learn along with the children how to do this, because you're particularly interested in parents from low-income families who may not have time to do some of these things. And they also teach them on diet. Of course, the kids get healthy snacks in schools, fresh vegetables and so on. Reduce the sugar consumption, the soft drinks and all that stuff. And again, the parents are advised on this. Well, they have dramatically cut down costs in Scotland with this program by 50%. And the percentage of children who are caries free is really risen. I think for the older kids, 8 to 10, something like that, it's gone from about 50% up to over 70%. Very successful in low-income families. And one of the reasons it's so cost-effective is you reduce dramatically a baby bottle tooth decay, where kids get bottles and suck on them for hours on end, sugared water, even Coca-Cola. It's dreadful. The top teeth get rotted to the gums, and they have to be removed by under anesthesia. Very expensive. So if you can cut down on baby bottle tooth decay, you're going to be way ahead on the economics. But the other economic aspect, which is exciting, is if you have an educational program which fights sugar because you want to reduce tooth decay, you're also going to be fighting obesity, cutting back on those gallons of soft drinks that kids. You're fighting obesity. If you fight obesity, you're fighting diabetes and all the complications from diabetes. This costs our health system billions of dollars. So there's a very clear message here that we want everybody to hear. Students, scientists, doctors, dentists, government officials, ordinary citizens, children. We need education, not fluoridation.